Okay, day 565 since delivery. The newest update, I have gotten the doors installed, and they're still a little rough, but I think I've got the 3/16 gap all the way around the edges, and mostly just I'm gonna zoom the camera out. Here we go. Mostly what you spend more time on really is getting those hinges, everything lined up right now. So what I found was best for me was I started with my gap here, because there's a lot to trim off all the way around the door. But I started on this gap here because once I got that gap even and rounded, then I can come over here, and when the door won't shut, I have the ability to sand down my gap while it's mounted. Because that took it off. Each door goes off 2 or 3 times. But yeah, pretty happy about it. I'm curious if any other builders run into this, but do I trim off a little bit extra here to allow the door, because the hinge kind of rubs there. I know the straps won't let it go so far. I'm not going to do that yet until I mount the strap attachments to see how far it goes out. And then there's also some movement. I've got to kick this one out. You can see a little bit of my lip here. So I've got to kick that, and all I'll do is I'll barely loosen it and just tap it with a mallet and get it out just a little bit further. I got the other side done, but and then, you know, once the doors are on, you can actually move the shell. There's enough wiggle in there, and then you go ahead and tack it with a couple of self-tapping screws for now to get riveted in later under the lip into that 2x2 frame. So that's it for now. I mean, I've got some functioning doors, so pretty exciting. And I think the other side, like I said, I should have done the passenger side first. I don't know why. It seems like doing the other side would be a little bit better this way. Kind of get this one right. See, now when the door is, once I get the latch, it'll hold it open. Once it's open, I've got a pretty flush mount all the way around, and the gap is good too. So happy with that one as well. So anyways, I think I said 565 since delivery. Okay, day 574 since delivery. I was working on my door latches. So got my nifty workbench here. These are powder coated pieces that I had, the door latch covers. I am missing a part. I reached out to Factory 5. They had sent me replacement parts kindly, but they actually sent the wrong ones. They sent me more of these latch covers, but there's an inner latch cover that the spring attaches to and makes the entire thing function. So I reached out to them today. So I had to pause getting door latches on the doors to get those finished. I was hoping to get that done, make it all in one video, but I'll also have to come back to that. I went ahead and worked on trunk today. So we have a functioning trunk. First thing you do is kind of you softly bolt it in, set it down, try to set your gaps the best you can. They do want you to leave this tighter than the normal 3/16. My guess is to get it fully set before shaving. I did get the handle and a nice tight fit on the handle. I will have to trim, this is a mess. I will have to trim this ledge here just a little bit, roll it a little bit so that it doesn't hit anymore. But we're in business there. And so this was a fairly simple project. Having the drop trunk modification made it a little bit more difficult, because normally you just put the bolt for this latch pin, you just bolt it right through, reach on the other side and turn it from the end of the car. But I can't do that with the drop trunk mod. So what I've done is I've put in a nice wide hole here. And what I'll do is I'll put a rubber grommet on that hole. I did the same thing over here for mounting that Jeff Kleiner modification for the shell. So I'll put a nice grommet in there after I carpet it, and that will keep things nice and smooth. I did have to, on the underside of this lip, to get this bulb seal in, I did have to shave quite a bit on both sides where the seam is. So I really struggled putting this on because it never seemed to sit perfectly level. So once you get it down here and I turn it in, it does have a really nice seal to it, except it's high on a couple points, one here and one over here. And what I've realized is in the manufacturing of this, I'm gonna have to build these up because you can see here, there's a pretty good gap there. It is sealed, it is hitting the seal, but I don't like how large that gap is. So when it comes time for body work, I will build that up and then shave it down and make it nice and flush and seam. But I'm pretty happy with the gap everywhere else. So anyways, that is 574 since delivery, and hopefully I'll have the door latch mounts, inner cover, the door latch inner covers in, so I can finish the latches and move on to the next thing, which I think it's roll bars. I have changed roll bars. So I've got the original taller roll bars from Factory 5, but I've reached out to Breeze Automotive, and they basically just send you raw steel pipe, some bent, and then you weld your own up, and then I'll take them for powder coating. The reason I'm doing that is they're shorter, and I have ordered from Hardtops, 427 Hardtops, a nice hardtop with windows to put on this thing, and so it requires a shorter roll bar to do so. And I think they look nicer. I think the ones Factory 5 provides are really tall, awkwardly tall. So I think it'll look a little more sleek having those on anyways. And then I'll be able to easily remove the hardtop when I want. And it's really neat. If you haven't seen them, look them up. 427 hardtops, nice windows, and the I'm gonna call them the wind wings. I think air wings. The ones on the side that if you want to take the windows off, you can slide those in as well. But and lockable latch on the back, so you can actually physically lock the car up when you have the hardtop on. So it'll be good for the wintertime driving, which I hope to do. That the reason I wanted to get that hardtop is not a cheap investment, but getting that means I get to drive the car a heck of a lot more. So especially right now, we're rounding 100 degrees here in Oklahoma, and 100 plus, 60 miles, 80 miles an hour on the highway is a blow dryer. I remember that having motorcycles in the past. So, having the air conditioning in the car, I'll actually be able to use it for that. With the top down, AC is not going to do a whole lot, but certainly with the top on.